While the world is scrolling, the 1% are building. While they're sleeping, the 1% are dreaming, louder, moving faster, and showing up harder. You don't need 1 million followers. You need $1 million mindset. This is the 1% mentality. And once you tap into it, there's no turning back. Let me tell you something the world doesn't teach enough. Being average is a choice. And so is being unstoppable. The difference between the girl who dreams and the woman who dominates is 1% more effort every day. The 1% mentality is not about being better than everyone. It's about being better than you were yesterday, even by an inch. Success doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence, presence, and power. Your own. I've walked red carpets. I've faced rejection. I've been told I was too much, too ambitious, too bold, too loud. I've been taught. I've been taught. I've been taught. I've been taught, I've been told that I am too much and that I must be pushed away. And I smiled because too much is exactly what it takes to break into the 1%. You show up when no one else does. That's not just a mindset. That's a revolution you start within yourself. When the world sleeps, you rise. When your friends cancel, you go anyway. When the rain pours, the excuses flood in, and everyone hides behind comfort, you show up. Not because it's easy, but because you promised yourself something. And darling, 1% people keep their promises, especially to themselves. You know that moment at 5 a.m. when the alarm screams and your body begs you to stay in bed? That's the war between the old you and the next level you. And the 1% doesn't snooze that war. She gets up, even with tired eyes and a heavy heart. Because queens don't need perfect mornings. They need purpose. Let me take you to a real moment. Picture a girl studying under a street lamp while others are at a party. Why? Because she knows no one's coming to hand her a throne. She's building it brick by brick, in the dark, in silence. That's the 1%. She doesn't need applause. Her vision is louder than the crowd's claps. You want to build a brand? Write that book? Change your body? Heal from that breakup? Then you better show up when it's messy, not just when it's magical. Anyone can be disciplined when life's pretty, but it takes something divine to be consistent when life's a storm. That's when diamonds are made, in pressure, not peace. Ever been in a gym when no one's watching? You, the weights, the mirror, and the voice in your head saying, just skip today. But the 1% doesn't skip. She stares her excuses in the face and lifts heavier. Not for Instagram, not for validation, but because she loves who she's becoming. Look at the entrepreneur working late nights while friends are posting selfies in Paris. She's not bitter. She's busy building. While they flex, she focuses. While they party, she plans. And one day, the same people will ask how she made it happen. And she'll smile. Because they never saw the nights she showed up for her dreams, when no one clapped, no one watched, no one cared. You don't need a support system to start. You need a decision. And you don't wait for energy. You create it. One step at a time. You drag yourself to practice when you're sore. You push your temperature. You drag yourself to practice when you're sore. You take the stage when your voice shakes. You smile in the mirror even when you feel like breaking down. That's not weakness. That's a woman on fire. Showing up doesn't mean you're always strong. Sometimes it means crying in the bathroom, then fixing your makeup and facing the world again like nothing touched you. That's power. Silent power. The kind the world underestimates until you explode into everything they said you couldn't be. And sometimes showing up means walking into a room where you're the only woman, the only person of color, the only voice that dares to speak truth, and still owning that space like it was made for you. Because here's the raw truth. Consistency is rare. Grit is rare. And most people give up when no one's watching. But not you. You show up because you're not building a cute moment. You're building a legacy. When people disappear, when praise stops, when motivation dries up, your feet still move. Your heart still believes. And your soul still says, let's go. Not for them, for you. Because 1% isn't what you have, it's who you decide to become. Every single time you show up when no one else does. You don't chase attention. You create impact. Because when you walk into a room, you don't need to scream to be heard. Your presence does the talking. Your energy shakes the space before you say a word. The world is filled with people screaming for likes, fighting for followers, chasing viral moments like they define their worth. But the 1%, she's different. She knows that when she walks with purpose, she doesn't need permission. Her power is silent, but her impact is thunder. You want to know the truth? Real power doesn't need a spotlight. It becomes the light. Imagine a girl who doesn't post every time she works. She doesn't announce her grind. But a year later, she walks in with results that silence the room. That's impact. Because attention fades, but transformation, that speaks. It echoes. It leaves fingerprints on hearts. There's a woman right now starting a business from her kitchen. No filters, no aesthetics, no audience. But she's changing lives, one customer at a time. And she'll never beg to be seen, because one day the world will have no choice but to see her. You don't need to dance for validation. You don't need to shrink into trends just to be relevant. The ones who chase attention are often the most lost. But the woman who creates impact, she knows her name before the world learns it. And when they finally do, they won't forget it. Think about the teacher who changes a child's life without posting about it. The nurse who saves lives during the night shift. The single mom who sacrifices her dreams to raise a queen. No cameras, no applause, just raw, relentless impact. And that's more powerful than any spotlight ever will be. You want to lead, you want to rise, then stop performing and start becoming. Your work should speak louder than your words. Your actions should echo louder than your status. Let people talk. Let them scroll. You build, you evolve, you elevate. Because when a woman is rooted in who she is, she doesn't need to be noticed. She cannot be ignored. You don't need to chase being seen. You need to chase becoming unforgettable. And that comes from what? You build in silence. From how you show up when no one's looking. From how you pour love into your passion, your craft, your cause. Not for likes, but for legacy. There's a moment when you stop asking, do they see me? And start asking, what will I leave behind? That's when your soul shifts. That's when you stop being part of the noise and start becoming the voice. I've seen girls build brands with no budget, no mentorship, and no support. Just fire in their heart and grit in their soul. They didn't chase virality, they chased mastery. And mastery always creates waves. Because chasing attention will give you moments. But creating impact, that gives you meaning. That makes your story immortal. You don't wear success like a glittering dress, hoping for compliments. You wear it like armor, forged in silence, sharpened in solitude. And one day, when the world finally looks your way, they won't just see your face. They'll feel your fire. So when they scroll past you, let them. When they ignore you, thank them. When they laugh at your silence, remember, the loudest storms start with a still wind. And you are that wind. You are not a show, you are a shift. Because you don't chase attention, you create impact. And that's what makes you unforgettable. You don't complain, you conquer. Because complaining is easy. Everyone does it. It's the national anthem of the average, but not you. You're not wired to whine, you're built to win. The world throws chaos, pain, betrayal, and delays at you, and instead of crying, you calculate. You don't drown in problems, you build ships from them. You sail through storms while others stand on the shore pointing fingers at the sky. That's what the 1% does. She doesn't explain her pain, she transforms it. You didn't choose the easy path, but you chose to walk like it's yours. And you walk with scars, not shame. Because every bruise taught you to rise. You've had doors slammed, hearts break, deals fall through, and still you show up with your head held high and your soul even higher. That's what it means to conquer. Not to live a life without pain, but to never let the pain paralyze you. There's a girl working 2 jobs, going to school at night, and still showing up with a smile. She doesn't complain about the weight on her shoulders, she lifts it. That's not weakness, that's warriorship. Because when life gives you less, you don't ask, why me? You say, watch me. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. Think of the woman in a boardroom where she's the only one not taken seriously. She doesn't cry in the bathroom. She sits straighter, speaks louder, and prepares harder. And one day, when the seat at the table isn't enough, she builds her own damn table. That's what happens when you stop complaining and start conquering. Every time someone breaks your heart, instead of collapsing, you build. You level up. You glow up. You silence the pain with progress. And while they're watching your stories, you're writing your own. The kind that one day becomes someone else's survival guide. You see, complaining is like rocking in a chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere. But you move mountains. You don't gossip. You grind. You don't cry for sympathy. You sweat for results. People will doubt you, ghost you, try to break you. Let them. You don't need their approval. You need your evolution. You're not here for pity. You're here for power. And power is earned when you do the things no one sees. There was a time in the moments no one understands. When you're exhausted, misunderstood, heartbroken, yet still you rise. That's not just discipline, that's divinity. There's a mother waking up before sunrise to prepare her kids, go to work, build her dream on the side, and heal from trauma she never talks about. She doesn't complain, she conquers. Because survival made her strong, but ambition made her dangerous. You don't speak your pain, you turn it into poetry. You don't run from pressure, you become the diamond. You don't beg for ease, you ask for strength. Because you know one truth that the world often forgets, that pain is part of the price, and only those who endure the fire deserve the crown. So when life knocks you down, you don't curse it, you thank it. Because every hit only builds your armor. Every setback sharpens your sword. And every silence teaches you to listen to the one voice that matters, your own. You don't wait for life to be fair. You take life and you make it yours. You don't sit in corners hoping for change. You become the change. You don't cry for comfort. You crave greatness. And greatness only comes to those who don't complain, they conquer. You learn from pain, not just praise, because anyone can smile when they're celebrated. Anyone can walk tall when the floor falls, but the real growth, the kind that changes your DNA, that comes when the lights go out and no one claps, and the only sound you hear is the echo of your own doubt. That's where warriors are made. Not on stages, but in shadows. Pain is not your punishment. It's your professor. It doesn't break you, it teaches you. Every heartbreak you thought would destroy you, it didn't. It rebuilt you. Every rejection you cried over became the redirection that led you here. Look back. Those scars on your soul, they're not signs of weakness. They're proof that you chose to learn instead of quit. That you rose when you could have crawled. That you spoke life into yourself when silence felt safer. There's a woman who got fired from her job after giving her best. She didn't get bitter, she got better. She took that disappointment and instead of crying, she crafted. She built her brand, her voice, her empire. That's what pain does. It either buries you or births you. And she chose rebirth. There's a young girl out there who was cheated on, made to feel like she wasn't enough. She could have let that break her. She could have drowned in the lie that she was replaceable. But instead, she hit the gym, hit the books, started her own journey, and today, the same person who broke her watches her rise from the sidelines. That's not revenge, that's evolution. Because she didn't just suffer, she studied her suffering, and she turned it into strength. Praise is sweet, but pain is sacred. Because when no one claps for you, you learn to clap for yourself. When no one believes in you, you learn to believe in your own fire. And that fire, it doesn't just warm you, it refines you. You learn who you are in the middle of the mess. Not when you're wearing the crown, but when you're crawling through the battlefield, wondering if you'll even make it. Think of the girl who launched a business that failed. She lost money, confidence, friends who doubted her. But instead of quitting, she sat down with the failure. She studied it like scripture. She learnt, she adjusted, she rose again, and now she's unshakable, not because she's never failed, but because she refused to stay down. That's the gift pain gives you. Depth. Depth that praise can never reach. You see, people love to clap for the woman who shines, but they don't see the one who bled in silence to become that light. That's you. The girl who took her lowest moments and used them as stepping stones. The girl who cried herself to sleep, but still woke up with fire. The girl who didn't need comfort to commit. She needed a reason. And pain gave her that reason. You learn more from your loneliness than from 1,000 compliments. You grow more in heartbreak than in hugs. Because when you're cracked open, that's when your soul breathes. That's when your truth walks in. That's when your strength stops being pretty and starts becoming powerful. Let them praise you later. Let them admire your strength when the crown is visible. But never forget the real royalty in you was built in the dark. It was carved from silence, stitched with tears, and sculpted through setbacks. Pain didn't stop you. It started you. You protect your energy like gold. Because once you understand the power you carry, you stop handing it out like free samples. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. Not everyone qualifies to breathe the same space where your peace lives. You've worked too damn hard to build this inner calm, this fierce focus, this quiet confidence. And you're not letting anyone walk in with chaos in their hands and confusion in their eyes, pretending to love you while draining the very soul you fought to heal. You don't reply to every message. You don't attend every invitation. You don't explain why you disappeared. Because the truth is, you've outgrown noise. You've outgrown people who only call when they need something. You've outgrown relationships that exhaust you more than empower you. You don't hate them. You just value yourself more. And that's not cold. That's wisdom. There's a woman who used to say yes to everything. Every plan, every call, every person. She ran on empty, trying to keep everyone else full. Until one day she broke. Not loudly, quietly. She sat in her car after dropping everyone else off in their lives and realized no one was showing up for her. And in that silence, she met herself again. And that version of her decided never again. Now she protects her energy like her life depends on it. Because it does. Energy is currency. And every interaction is an investment. If it's not pouring into you, it's pulling from you. So you ask yourself now, is this person peace or poison? Is this habit healing or harming? Is this environment helping me grow or keeping me stuck? That level of self-awareness, that's not selfish. That's survival. You walk into rooms now and feel the vibe before you speak. You sense fake smiles and hidden intentions. And you don't play along. You protect your space, even if that means protecting it alone. Because solitude is sacred when your energy is finally safe. You used to entertain drama. Now you delete it before it starts. You used to fight to be understood. Now you smile, nod, and walk away. Not because you don't care, but because peace is louder than proving your point. Think of the girl who finally cut ties with toxic family, even when it broke her. She stopped answering calls that only brought guilt and obligation. She stopped shrinking to be accepted. She stopped apologizing for choosing herself. That takes courage. The world doesn't applaud. But it's the kind of courage that changes everything. You meditate. You journal. You walk away from gossip. You unfollow accounts that trigger your insecurity. You create boundaries not to push people out, but to protect the masterpiece you're building within. And every time someone says you've changed, you smile because you have. You've gone from being a people pleaser to a purpose protector. From overextending to overflowing. Your energy is your empire. It's what you create with, it's what you love from, it's what you fight through. And when it's right, you glow differently. You move differently. That glow isn't makeup, it's maintenance, it's protection. It's knowing that not everyone who smiles at you wants you to shine. So now you keep your circle small, your standards high, and your spirit guarded. You don't entertain what drains you. You don't chase what confuses you. You don't argue with people committed to misunderstanding you. Because your energy is gold. And not everyone deserves to touch what they didn't help you build. You play the long game. Because quick wins don't excite you anymore. What you're building is too sacred to be rushed. You're not chasing claps. You're cultivating legacy. While others chase attention like it's a drug, you're laying brick after brick. Silently, patiently, knowing your time is coming. You don't need to go viral. You need to go valuable. You don't need likes. You need impact. And impact doesn't come in a sprint. It's earned through the marathon of consistency. You're not here to impress people for a moment. You're here to inspire generations through your movement. And for that, you've accepted the cost. The late nights when everyone's asleep and you're still grinding. The lonely days when no one understands why you're so focused. The weekends sacrificed, the parties missed. The comfort zones you destroyed. All because you see the mountain while they only see the next step. There's a woman who started her business out of a small bedroom. She didn't have capital, investors, or applause, but she had vision. She posted products online while others scrolled. She learned marketing while others complained about the algorithm. She kept going day after day, year after year, while her peers gave up after month one. Today, she runs an empire. Not because she had luck, because she had long game mentality, because she built when no one was watching. You see people showing off their highlight reels, their vacations, their expensive clothes, their luxury lifestyle, and you could try to compete, but you know better. You know what looks fast is often fragile. And you don't build anything fragile, you build things that last. So, you stay in your lane. You move in silence. You don't build anything fragile. You build things that last. So you stay in your lane. You move in silence. You plant seeds while they post selfies. And one day, when your forest is in full bloom, they'll wonder how you did it. You'll smile. Because you didn't just show up for the glow up. You earned it. Think of the student who studied for years. While others laughed at her for not partying, they didn't see her crying over textbooks, praying through failures, showing up even when results were slow. Today, she's the one they all call lucky. But luck is just what long game looks like when it finally wins. You play the long game in love too. You don't chase temporary attention. You don't settle for someone who looks good but feels wrong. You'd rather wait years for the right soul than waste months with the wrong energy. You understand that fast love fades. Real love takes time. Time to build trust, loyalty, understanding, and depth. You're not afraid of being alone. You're afraid of wasting your heart on something shallow. And let's talk about your healing. You're not looking for overnight peace. You're not pretending everything's fine. You're doing the real work. The ugly crying. The boundaries. You're here for speed. You're here for substance. You're not chasing the quick fix. You're creating the real you. You're not in competition. You're in transformation. And transformation takes time. You show up even when it's boring. You commit even when it's thankless. You keep your eyes on the vision, not the validation. Because you're not building something for likes, you're building something for life. This is why they don't understand you. This is why you intimidate people. You're not desperate. You're desperate. You're desperate. You're desperate. You're desperate. You do anything for the people you love. Determined. You're not loud. You're lethal. Because the loudest ones usually fade first. But the one who builds in silence, that's the one who lasts forever. They'll wonder how you did it. How you survived what broke others. How you stayed calm in the chaos. How you kept showing up even when no one clapped. And you'll smile, not because you owe them an answer, but because you became the answer. You didn't rush the process. You didn't beg for shortcuts. You didn't try to fit in. You chose to evolve. And evolution is never loud, but the results, oh, they echo for lifetimes. Because while the world was busy running after applause, you were mastering your craft. While they were trying to be seen, you were becoming unforgettable. And that's what the 1% mentality is. It's not about ego. It's about excellence. It's not about being better than anyone. It's about being better than who you were yesterday, every single day. It's waking up and asking, how far can I go if I stop making excuses? It's looking your doubt in the eye and saying, you picked the wrong woman to mess with. You are not here to impress. You are here to impact. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break patterns. You are not a product of your past. You are the architect of your next level. And no, it hasn't been easy, but nothing legendary ever is. Legends are born in silence, not in spotlights. Legends are made when the world says you can't, and you whisper back, watch me. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to stop doubting yourself. The most powerful glow up is not external. It's not in your outfit, your makeup, or your feed. It's in your eyes when you realize, I've survived hell. And now, I'm dangerous. The fire didn't burn you. It forged you. And that's why you no longer beg for a seat at any table. You're building your own with velvet chairs, gold standards, and zero tolerance for disrespect. Some people will say you've changed. Let them. That's what happens when you stop living in survival mode and start stepping into your queen era. Your boundaries are not rude. Your silence is not weakness. It's called knowing your worth and acting like it. Because you don't chase love, you attract respect. You don't explain your vision to those who can't see past their fears. You simply rise and let your results do the talking. They said it was impossible until you did it. They said you were too much, and now they wish they were enough. You're not everyone's cup of tea, but you were never made to be sipped slowly. You were born to be. Tasted in moments of courage and swallowed by those who can handle real strength. So let them underestimate you. Let them talk. Just keep building. Keep glowing. Keep becoming the kind of woman whose presence is a privilege, not a promise. Success isn't loud, it's personal. It's that quiet moment when you look in the mirror and no longer see your past, you see your power. And if you ever feel like giving up, remember this. Diamonds don't shine because they're lucky. They shine because they've been cut, pressured, and polished in darkness. So maybe your delay wasn't a denial. Maybe it was destiny protecting your brilliance until the world was ready. Don't play small. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't dim your light because someone else forgot how to shine. The world doesn't need more people fitting in. It needs more people like you. Bold, brilliant, and unapologetically becoming. Because when you operate with the 1% mentality, you don't wait for opportunities. You create earthquakes. This isn't the end of your story. This is the chapter they'll quote one day when they say, and that's when she became unstoppable.